Hello and welcome everybody. For those of you just joining us from twitch.tv/Paladins game, welcome to Paladins World, where we are hosting the North American side of the Paladins Fall Challenger Circuit. We're currently into the finals. The bracket should be available on screen momentarily, and you'll be able to see the path that all of these teams have taken through so far. The finalists, of course, being none other today than the Dons and the DrkBlacks, both an interesting bunch here. We have the Dons, who actually only retain one member from their previous roster in the qualifiers last week, and that is the notorious known as BANGBANGBANGBANG, with some pretty legendary Cassie play today. However, their opponents being the DrkBlacks. This is a ragtag bunch of players put together from, well, players with previous competitive experience. We have notable names and streamers such as teevee and Arinnar in there, as well as some new faces, and DrkBlack from North American Paladins, who you might know as one of the most experienced players in the game to date. We're currently waiting for our champion drafting to be completed before we can go ahead and get into the first match. Of course, we'll pull up the map drafting on screen right now so you can see what the maps that the players will be playing on. We're looking to have a bit of an interesting mix here, notably Ice Mines as the second pick. This is a very close quarters map, and I'm excited to see how the Dons, with their very sort of wrecking ball style composition, run on a close quarters map as opposed to maybe one which is more out in the open. Either way, it's going to get very heated. It's going to be a bloodbath. It is a best of 5 set, and the winner gets the top spot for seeding for the next tournament coming up next week and gets 100 points towards being the player that can, or being the team which can enter the gauntlet to face off against the bottom 3 challenger teams in the 5th week of competition and potentially have a chance at going to Hi-Rez Expo in January. Hi-Rez Expo in January, of course, being the home of the Paladins Invitational. It's a $150,000 prize pool tournament with 8 teams from all around the world, 2 from EU, 2 from NA. We have 1 from China, 1 from Oceania, 1 from Brazil, and 1 from Latin America, and we're very excited to make this a very multinational event. If you want to find out more information about Hi-Rez Expo, you can go and visit hirezexpo.com and get your tickets before they all run out, because they are selling like hotcakes. Either way, my name is Vox. My co-caster for today will be iHoldShift, and we will see you in game in just a couple of minutes. And here we are into the finals. Champions of the realm. My name is Vox, joined by iHoldShift, and the map we're going to be on today for our first game in this best of 5 set is Frog Isle. Of course, the teams today, they will be the DrkBlacks on the left-hand side with teevee rocking some Drogos. Khario this time on Ying. Arinnar with Androx says, don't let this guy go off on one. DrkBlack picking up a ruckus here, and RatedW on Victor. A lot of direct damage, but an interesting composition. And who will their opponents be today?
Well, the interesting composition comes out of the fact that all 3 tanks and frontliners are picked up by the Dons. Hawwk playing Makoa, Bang Bang on that staple Cassie, Killer Umbrellas gets the Barrack, Ross in his prime, playing Fernando, and Zangief will be following up the support with Pip. And like I had mentioned, the reason the Ruckus had to come out was because all 3 tanks were taken in the first 2 rounds of drafting for the Dons.
So you can see that the Dons, and immediately they just gain point control, though. A massive fire spit. First blood still going to Zangief, but teevee making a bit of a name for himself. You can see DrkBlack dropping a lot of damage to the Fernando shield that comes up. A Bang Bang already with 1 kill as well. 2 players down, but oh my goodness, the fire spits once again, but teevee with no record. Oh my god, the direct hit onto Pip. This guy is a monster right now. Fire spit again. It's not going to connect this time, and the players of the Dons are safe for the moment, but up in the air, teevee is hard to hit. They're dropping damage onto Hawwk, who is shut down by RatedW. We're getting the retake coming through, and despite an impressive point hold to actually start things out, this is unexpected. teevee playing up right here, dropping so much damage, and the Ruckus holding things down for their team.
Yeah, teevee with this fire spit to get 1 kill and then 2 actual direct hits at a distance to kill on the point. And then DrkBlack, with 2 players being down, got to sit back and just funnel in all of his damage. That's the problem of having 3 tanks. You have no one who can close the gap and punish this Ruckus.
They have the Cassie, but it's not quite enough right now. It's early game without Cauterize being online. Ying just goes off. Arinnar with a double kill, although Bang Bang answers back with a kill into Khario. No healing available for the team. They must disengage here. teevee trying to box out at close range to Bang. They actually can't hit the shots. Oh, close double kill, but Bang Bang should be punished. They're getting away with murder right here. Forced into reversal as Arinnar, and Bang comes back out around the corner. Somebody clean them up. Oh no, they're a monster, but Arinnar shuts them down finally, and that is the capture going over to the Dons. But good grief. This is before we have high-level wreckers online, and once that starts coming through for DrkBlack, and once that starts coming through for teevee on Drogos, this is going to be a very scary situation for the Dons to be in.
extremely scary situation, especially, again, as you said, if they do not convert here and it goes to 1-1, and then if it possibly goes 2-2, you know, it's just dangerous to have all those shields. The other thing, too, is they need to make sure they are stacking their shields consecutively, one after one another, and not putting them all concurrently where they all run together, because it's just going to be a melt fest. You need to have at least some kind of a mitigation going on, and if all three of those shields get popped at the same time, then it's going to be hard to make that happen.
It's all about important cooldown reduction here and cooldown rotation. That's really going to be what keeps the Dons in it for this round at least. But so far, it looks like actually we're seeing a hold come out. Barik poked out very low. Killer Umbrella's in a lot of trouble. Arinnar trying to close out the kill, but the healing station there from Barik is enough to keep them alive. Barricade is back up again, and now Arinnar out of position, has to run. Hexafire from DrkBlack as well. The Fernando shield should go down, and everybody must disengage out of line of sight. But speaking of disengage, bang, 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 goes straight back into the issue, gets a swift double kill, looking to close out onto Victor as well. Will this be a triple kill almost off the map? RatedW shut down. The triple kill comes through. Khario straight into danger. The quadra kill from Bang Bang Bang. Can they get the penta and close things out? They don't even need to, as the payload should roll through relatively unhindered. Killer Umbrellas picks up the final kill, and that's a 2-point lead for the Dons.
Disclaimer on this composition being ran by the Dons. Do not do this at home if you do not have Bang Bang on your team. Cassie is going off. 10-3-1. She is the only character that's getting kills right now. And it's all on the backhands of Bang Bang, who is driving that Cassie car and just outplaying a majority of the players that are playing on the DrkBlacks.
Well, speaking of outplays, dude, let's talk about Killer Umbrellas back in that previous situation, because they had a direct boxing match with Arinnar's Androxus and stayed alive due to healing station. Bought enough time and enough distraction for the team to come through, and then Bang Bang just was like, hey, 1, 2, 3, and that's a triple kill. Thank you very much. I will be eating your team for breakfast. But once again, the players are spawning in. We're seeing RatedW come out for Ruckus this time, and Dragon Punch is being channeled. We should see an Immortal to cancel. Don't go in, teevee. Don't do it. It's suicide. He goes in anyway, but here comes Barrage. The damage is monumental. RatedW with a double kill so far, and they look to clean things up. Killer Umbrellas does place 2 turrets here. They're staying alive, but RatedW this time looking to prioritize those turrets. No time to get your dome shield off, Barik. You are shut down, and so far we're seeing a complete turnaround to the previous round. It will, of course, be the DrkBlacks locking things down and ticking upwards of 60% on the capture.
Yeah, that was just great overall play, stacking on top of the Dragon Punch. You also had the Barrage to follow up just as Immortal was raining out, and you get all that damage. Here comes the Evil Mojo, able to find one, which is DrkBlack, and the retake is coming in for the Dons.
Well, so far, though, but Bang is down. That's the primary carry. Arinnar is able to stay alive somehow still. They can get the shutdown. teevee. Nice fire spin as well. And whilst we're seeing the Dons on the objective up into the air, they cannot last for long, except they've got the double dome shield and the Fernando on the objective holding things down. No Ruckus with a wrecker to break this down. We're going to have to see a point contest. DrkBlack returns. He comes in. He drops damage onto the shields. teevee in the air with a barrage of shots from above, but dredged into danger. Makoa is the shutdown player on Ruckus. They're able to pull them into danger, straight into Cassie, and once again the Dons come out on top. But this is heavily contested. This is so heated, and it is only slivers away from the DrkBlacks being able to steal at least a capture away from the Dons.
Yeah, it's looking very dangerous now for the side of the DrkBlacks. Well, let's take a look at what overall game awareness means right now. Bang Bang, who's playing this Cassie, comes back into this fight, able to focus on DrkBlack, and you have to sit there and think to yourself, they have no more shielding. I could go in there and start dueling all these other squishy characters, and so what does he do? He doesn't. He's able to find a second kill, and almost the third before finally the rest of the team spawns up, and now the payload is moving right around this corner. It's just good game awareness by the Cassie player here, and the Hexafire in the back line.
Oh, DrkBlack, he's dropping the damage. He will take out Fernando, but Bang Bang's already killed 2 of their teammates in the backline. Dragon Punch has to be used just to take out the Cassie, and honestly, teevee, if you're going for anybody, I wouldn't take out a tank with him. I would just take Mo completely off the battlefield, as they are far too devastating. We're seeing a brief stall come out, but with no real frontliner except Ruckus. This is a difficult stall to hold. Once again, Killer Umbrellas somehow managing to survive with a sliver of HP, gets around the corner, out of combat, can heal up, regenerate with the turrets, and they're already back at full. This is such a dangerous situation to be in, and there's only one team that can come out on top, but RatedW with a barrage does manage to kill Bang Bang, and that's going to buy some time. But look at this shift. We got 1 minute and 7 seconds left on the clock so far, and all of that time for the regroup to come through. How do you keep the Dons at bay?
Well, the thing about it is you need to
Do
be able
you?
to zone a little bit aggressively here. You need to make sure that you can keep everyone pushed back. RatedW had a really good ricochet nade off the wall to finish off the pip. And now this is smart. This is the tactical retreat we're talking about. Although RatedW does fall, but it is a trade, so it's a fair trade there. And again, you need to know when you're in a bad spot. All 5 players are coming at you. If you're looking as the side of DrkBlacks looking at the Dons, all 5 players are coming at you. You do not have to win an engagement here. You are stalling so well. Let that be a successful engagement just by making sure that nobody is mounted and can get to this payload. And killerumbrellas, again, out by himself, will fall. And now it's a 5-on-4. Now you get aggressive if you're looking at the DrkBlacks.
Oh, you certainly do, but actually it's the DrkBlacks who have to retreat on the back of a polymorph up in the air as Arinnar with the accursed arm as well, trying to find some damage. Immortal by Fernando. That's going to keep everybody safe, but Makoa is just out of range. No, but all of a sudden we're seeing Fernando, the last player alive on the objective. Barak is coming back in. We might see some ultimates burned here, and still we're actually seeing Pip on the objective locking things down, but this should be a very quick, swift turnaround for the DrkBlacks. They should be able to hold this one down, but killerumbrellas keeps on fracking. It's the barrage that has to come in from RatedW again, and by this time Cassie is back. Dodge roll is enough to keep her safe. Shut down by teevee right there. But there are so many ultimates being used. Dragon Punch as well, just to close things out and keep things safe. But Ross is here. The Fernando is able to stall out momentarily again. And we're just seeing the Dons waste so much in the way of ultimates on this side of the DrkBlacks. And this is going to come back to haunt them, because look at the scoreboard right now. We've got Ancient Rage. We have the Flamethrower Turret and Dome Shield, the lockdown from Barak available. And once they get onto that objective, they are going nowhere.
Well, and even to kind of give some credit over to what Cassie's ult brings, Scout is also available, and I anticipate seeing Bang Bang proccing that here pretty early, just to know exactly how we're going to come and take over this point. Can we pull a flank first and then come back and punish, you know, that information that they're able to get off of that Scout ultimate? I think we're going to see that happen here. But regardless, you know, Bang Bang had an opportunity to be an all-star there. There were 3 players that were right around half HP. The dodge roll and precision shots were coming off, but it just wasn't enough conversion of damage to lock that in. A good hold defensively, but with those ultimates, like you said, that are up, this is going to be all about how the Dons can capitalize on that advantage and finish this game out.
Well, speaking of all-star players, very low players, the opportunity for Bang Bang to go in, but there's a Hexafire which is going to zone everybody out for the time being. Bang able to survive behind a tree for the time being, and that's going to be killerumbrellas causing issues, but Khario and teevee come out on top so far. Blue team in the lead. Look at killerumbrellas still trying to frag. Should be shut down by DrkBlack here. This is a turnaround. Right now, the Dons didn't use their ultimates. Instead, looking to see potentially if they could bait some out of their opposition. They do so successfully and magnificently, but teevee has had the opportunity to charge Dragon Punch. 86% and climbing rapidly. Once this comes online, there is no Immortal Ultimate. That could shut down the entire Ancient Rage, and this could be the turnaround point we've been waiting for, as killerumbrellas take so much poke. It's forced the Dome Shield off the objective. It already goes down. What is this area damage? Dragon Punch from teevee. It's coming in, finding the Makoa. He connects. That's the kill. Fernando, the last player who can contest. Pip is trying to save it. Ross does get a kill, but they are swiftly going to be shut down by teevee, and that will be the capture going over, this time to the DrkBlacks. Good grief. I can't even hold in the voice cracks. This game is so exciting.
Yeah, and a lot of that comes from just the marginal time that it took for killerumbrellas to get there and the rest of his team to follow up. Again, we're getting into the late game. Record 2 and Record 3 for just about every single player on the DrkBlacks is making all of these shields melt. Barak had his barricade up for literally a quarter of a second and it was gone. The focus is absolutely immense right now on these Wreckers getting onto the shields, and it's not allowing the Dons to get set up like they were earlier this game.
Oh no, that's a big pick though, as Khario does go down. No more healing for the DrkBlacks, and this could be the turnaround point. And the defense is Arinnar is chained in by Hawwk and shut down with that bonus damage combo. The payload still advancing despite all of that. A little bit risky right here. I would like to see the DrkBlacks back off, and I think they're going to need to, as DrkBlack, their namesake, is pulled into danger and should be finally shut down.
Yeah, and now we have Barrage open in an area right here. He's able to convert, luckily with the help of teevee. And these pulls right now for Hawwk are really good, but he doesn't have the team to follow up. A nice shot, though, for Bang Bang from the distance in midair. Says no thank you on that aerial control.
Now you're once again having to deal against the triple tank team who is just going to sit on the objective or zone aggressively, locking off any kind of avenue of entry towards the objective, the payload that needs to be pushed right here. And you're not going to be able to break through. We're seeing Bang go off because the teams are staggered. They're not a cohesive unit right now. They're not going in together, and they don't have the burst damage to be able to deal with these shields. We're off the opposite end of the map than what we expected. We're seeing a spawn camp come through right now onto the DrkBlacks, who are so close to their base, and there is nothing they can do about it without the respawns trickling through altogether and potentially pushing through as 5.
Yeah, but you have to stay alive here if you're the Dons. Unfortunately enough, the rocket boots plus the turtle shell will help Killer Umbrellas get out of that fight and then utilize Veteran. A good pull in.
Oh, the fireball! Massive damage. DrkBlack already at 0 HP. The emitter will keep him alive for the time being, as well as Khario's healing, but Khario is in a lot of danger. They're far too aggressive right now with minimal HP. That was a combo damage fireball that almost got a complete shutdown. If that hadn't been Ruckus right at the back, that would have been a KO for almost any other player, Shift.
Did you just, again, the fireball lineup hit 3, and Ross is able to finish off 2, while Killer Umbrellas gets the 3rd. That's another turnaround here. We're seeing a 2-player swap every single engagement. It's 5-on-3, then it's 3-on-3, then it's another 5-on-3, and this defense was just so aggressive. They found opportunities to poke holes, and the Cassie is just getting in and showing how good of a mechanical and technical player he is, because he's able to poke out and then follow up and get burst damage down to where it flips the tide of making it not just a 5-on-5, but now it's a 5-on-3, 5-on-2, and then it comes back, tactical retreat, continue to have your advantage, and now it's a 3-2 scoreline in favor of the Dons.
Well, you say it's in favor of the Dons. All ultimates on the board. The Dons could look to close out here, but we have got 2 instances of Wrecker 3 and 2 instances of Wrecker 2 available on the side of the DrkBlacks. They have so much damage. They're getting their Havens online too. RatedW with Morale Boost 2 will have the ultimate barrage up and available as soon as they've used it. If they can bait out something from the Dons, it could be a good look, but the Dons, they're a bit more wily than that. They're going aggressive. Here we go, Polymorph as well, but it finds nobody. DrkBlack is shut down. However, I think that did connect onto them once RatedW comes in, and the Dragon Punch does from teevee 2. It's not enough for the kill, but following on from that, the direct hit is, but still, the DrkBlacks are so staggered. Bang, just allowed to go off on a killing spree in the backline, finally taken out by Arinnar, but the damage has already been done. Arinnar is going to be poked out around the corner. DrkBlack not in a position to drop a ton of damage without being poked out. They're trying to advance. They have Hexafire, but Wrecker doesn't work on that DrkBlack, and there's a dome shield and flamethrower turret from the barrack. This is looking to be a close-out play. Can they break the hold, or is this going to go the way of the Dons? And with the barrage coming down, it looks like it just might.
Yeah, Zangief able to get a good healing potion in there, and again, the staggering of shields mitigated all of Hexafire. It didn't even touch a health bar. It spent everything on the shields, and now the aggressive zone will result in the victory for the Dons after an intense matchup. But again, the shields too strong for Hexafire, resulting in the Dons walking away with map number 1.
That's a gutting situation to be in because the Ruckus pick almost worked out. I feel like that's the name of the game right now. Ruckus, they're almost good enough, but not quite. And in a situation like that, when you give the Dons triple shield, it's something which you just can't afford to do going into future games. Now, right at the end there, we talked about Hexafire. There was Wrecker 3 available for Ruckus. DrkBlack would have done more damage if they didn't use Hexafire and just shot the shields, then pull that Hexafire onto the exposed players, as you said. And that's something which certainly the DrkBlacks can learn from, but we've still got at least 2 more games ahead of us. This is a best of 5 in the finals, and we're on Ice Mines next. So what kind of compositions are you expecting on the next map coming up, Shift?
Well, we've seen before how Buck can be used on Ice Mines effectively, as long as the rest of your team is following up. So I wouldn't put it past the Dons possibly to go back and utilize that again. But again, it's just such a weird map because it's a long journey from capture point to checkpoint. So you need some kind of a sustain to make sure that if you do tactically retreat a little bit, you can get up to full HP very quickly. I have to say, you need to see a priority in both tanks and then hopefully in the Ying, because that's going to just result in so much healing over time that will allow you to either sustain a defense or sustain a payload push. And it's just going to come down to who can execute longer fights better, because in the map like Frog Isle, it's all about very quick, very focused engagements while a map like Ice Mines, you're going to be seeing longer fights, a lot more just sustained damage versus sustained healing, and how we can kind of mitigate damage, whether by using shields or bouncing off ultimates, whether you're talking about a Rage or you're talking about an Immortal. It's going to be interesting to see. We also have seen Eevee be played a couple of different times in this map because, again, there's a lot of places where she can blink from safely into the fight and then wormhole back out. Who knows? I think at this point, it's anyone's game as far as what characters come to the field. It's going to come down, though, to who can sustain themselves longer, both from keeping themselves healthy while also putting out damage.
Speaking of damage as well, let's take a look at the scoreboard stats, which are available on the screen. And what I'm noticing more than anything else here, yes, the credit score is higher for the Dons because of more objective time.
Sure.
This is understood. Everything else, oh, Aquarius, we have actually swapped away from the scoreboard screen, but just so you guys we can talk about this very briefly. Everything else is pretty consistent. These teams are very evenly matched across the board, and it was only because of the composition that it looks like the DrkBlacks had a difficult time in dealing with the Dons. So going on to Ice Mines, as you said, Shift, this could be, it's up in the air. This is a coin toss for me. Have you got any other thoughts going into this that you might want to see? Is there any champion that you do not want going to a specific team?
I think you need to take Cassie away from Bang Bang.
Yeah.
That's what it comes down to. This last game was all about, can the damage output of the DrkBlacks surpass the shielding of the Dons? The answer to that last match was no. So now you're looking at a situation of, how do we take away some of the potency that the Dons are bringing to the field? Of course, you don't expect them to be able to run all three tanks again with shields, but what else was making them successful? Bang Bang was doing all of the damage last game. Literally almost 70,000 more than the next person on his team. That's significant. And a lot of that comes down to Bang Bang has been playing essentially nothing but Cassie and is establishing himself as being one of the better Cassie players in the scene. So I think you need to take that away. If you're going to find one character that is the Don's real nuclear energy, it's Cassie.
And there you have it, folks. We're starting to see targeted picks instead of, in the wake of bans, shall we say, just to try and lock out specific champions. And I would expect that to be coming up into your draft. Of course, as soon as the draft is available this time going into Game 2, we should be able to bring that to you live on your screens and have a little bit of breakdown and analysis and some of Shift's Academy coming out. Or was it Shift School? Sorry, my bad. That's Kami Academy, Shift School. There we go. We have the two rival groups right there, but maybe a little bit of breakdown on why these picks are being utilized on Ice Mines. Either way, closing out for the time being, my name is Vox, joined by I Hold Shift, and we will see you in Game 2 after the break. And we bid you greetings again, champions of the realm, as we get into our pick screen for the second game between the Dons and the DrkBlacks in your Challenger Circuit Finals for the first week in North America. My name is Vox, joined by I Hold Shift, and the teams are as follows. On the left-hand side, we do have the DrkBlacks with the first pick this game, if I'm not mistaken, and their opponents, of course, are the Dons, and I Hold Shift, Alan. What is going on here on Ice Mines?
Well, let's just go ahead and run through DrkBlacks' team. They were able to pick off the Fernando, first pick overall, followed up by Cassie, Victor, Ying, Buck, and of course those players combining. It's going to be teevee on the Fernando. Cassie was the second pick by Arinnar. Victor played by RatedW, as we expect, and then of course Khario on Ying, and DrkBlack playing Buck, which was their final pick. And they're going up against an interesting composition where the Dons were able to the first two picks were Makoa Drogos, which is pretty stock, and then going for the Pip instead of the Ying, which is interesting. And then on top of that, the Andro, and then the final pick of the entire drafting phase was Kanessa, which again, she does have an alleyway to snipe through, as Rossitus Prime will likely be doing underneath in the actual mines itself, kind of dancing between that and, of course, the platformed windows. Killer Umbrellas, though, and Zangief are going to have to be doing the majority of the damage, though, I fear, as the Andro and Drogos pick, respectively, are going to be the clutch key to making sure that this point is not just overall focused and the Buck is able to at least be dealt with on the back line. Hawwk will be playing the Makoa, and then, interestingly enough, Bang Bang, now that there's no Cassie, as we called out, they was stolen from him, will be playing Pip instead.
Well, we can't sleep on that Pip pick. Of course, you may know Bang 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 by another name if you have been a part of the Paladins competitive scene for a while. They are none other than Notorious, who was a DreamHack finalist on the Old Saw team, who had a reputation for one of the nastiest pips around. I am so thrilled to see them back on this sort of throwback pick at this point. Yes, they don't have the Cassie, but this is going to be pretty deadly. But we're on Ice Mines. It's a close quarters map. We're going to have sustained fights based around a lot of poke around corners. Where does the Kanessa fit into this?
The Kinessa fits in for DrkBlacks as far as being able to kill secure, I think, more than anything else. You're going to have some pretty good damage coming out of teevee on Fernando, and of course, RatedW playing the Victor, having the grenades able to spam through, as well as just having his assault rifle to be able to plug a lot of damage from a distance. You need to rely on Arinnar to jump in, get some kill secures, and then jump back out. If the thing about it is, if the Dons stay alive long enough, Pip's heal will come into play. But knowing Bang as I do, he's going to be looking for damage. He's going to be looking to build that ultimate quickly. And then, of course, that evil mojo plus a cursed arm could be devastating, especially on the control points where everything is very close-knit and it forces a 5-on-5 essentially on the point.
Either way, folks, we are now loading into game. We're going to get all synced up for you in our spectator mode, ready to bring you the second game of the finals in this this first week of the North American Challenger circuit between the Dons and the DrkBlacks. We'll see you in just a couple of seconds after the break, and let us know who you are rooting for in the chat to your right-hand side of the screen. And here we are, straight into game 2, everybody. My name is Vox, joined by iHoldShift, and this is the DrkBlacks versus the Dons. The DrkBlacks, of course, losing the first game out. They will be your first pick and the first in the champion drafting order. They're on the left-hand side of the screen. We're seeing teevee pick up Fernando, RatedW on Victor, Arinnar on Cassie, Khario on Ying, and DrkBlack rocking some buck. Not going with aggression this time. A wise pick, I would say.
Yeah, we had that conversation earlier about that. But on the flip side, all damage-dealing items, 4 cauterizes and a record for the Dons, who will be specified by Hawwk on Makoa, Bang Bang on Pip, Ross and his Prime on Kinessa, Killer Umbrellas on that Andro, and Zangief, who is that only player with record, will be playing Drogo. So I actually really enjoy these item picks on the side of the Dons.
I think that shutting down all healing coming out of Buck straight off the bat, and straight also shutting down the healing from Ying, is so important. And you can see all the dredge anchor misses. That could have been huge right there for Hawwk. On the objective, it's teevee, but bopped around already. First blood going to Killer Umbrellas onto Khario, and no more healing. We're going to see DrkBlack pick up a trade. Arinnar as well on the Killer Umbrellas, but Arinar's in so much trouble. They've got the jukes, they've got the moves, but not for long enough with no sustain on their side as teevee tries to chase down Hawwk, and the point contest will continue. But as Bang 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 gets a double kill on Pip, it looks like this one once again is going to the Dons. Possible triple kill coming through. Will it hit? There we go. Zangief with the kill shot from Drogo's onto the tanky Fernando, and that will be all of the DrkBlacks sent back to base in a staggered formation.
Yeah, and 50+% already on this point. It's going to come down to a 4-on-5 here, most likely, for the side of the DrkBlacks if they want to try to get back here. A nice shot there from Ross's Prime to cancel out DrkBlack.
Oh!
Now, my God, 2 in a row. It's going to be a 5-on-3. This point has to go to the Dons.
There's no way to get back on it. I'm sorry, you do not have the damage available right now. That's another kill to Ross and his Prime as they picks off Arinnar. I was worried about the Kinessa pick on this map, and if you're on the back foot, then Kinessa on Ice Mines on the point capture is a bit of a liability, but if you have the upper hand and Kinessa can just hold down the angles and the windows, it can be devastating, which is just what you're seeing now. Once again, teevee dredged in by Hawwk. Here's a big evil mojo as well, looking for the double kill. That is 2 picked off the back of that, and still the Dons push forwards. Killer Umbrellas takes out RatedW as well, and the kills are just going so heavily in favor of the Dons, but we're seeing the comeback play. Arinnar able to stay alive, will be able to take out Zangief for the delayed triple kill, and a stabilization play, possibly from a bit of an underestimation there coming out of the Dons.
Hashtag the power of Ying right now, because that's exactly why Arinnar was able to stay alive throughout that duel with Andro. It missed the reversal, which could have finished Arinnar off, but instead, dodge rolling and going straight into illusions, able to get to full health, while Andro was getting ticked away, and now it has to be a situation with less than a minute 30 left, for the Dons have to come back and try to make this payload go a little bit further before they're in a good spot where they could possibly convert.
So a big question for you is, how do you spell overextension right there? Despite Arinnar managing to clean up on the backside of things, teevee was picked off for free, and there's still a minute left to go. Now, what I'd love to see the Dons do is regroup, which of course they're going to. They don't have Evil Mojo left available right now, because Bang Bang hasn't gone into the morale boost, which I sort of expected, but they have a lot of other ultimates. But at this point, look at where the payload is shift. Is this something you go for as far as conversion, or do you just give this one up completely?
I think at this point, with it getting underneath a minute and with DrkBlack getting all up in the face of the Dons, you need to try to do what you can to take these kill streaks away and get your ultimates charged up again. Even if you have to utilize a couple of ultimates here for the Dons to get those kill streaks down, you're going to get it back that much quicker. 4 players now have ultimates ready for the Dons. I think you need to utilize them here a little bit and hope that you can get some coins back in your pocket and, of course, take some of these kill streaks away.
Well, we're unlikely to see Dragon Punch used as teevee actually utilized the Immortal Ultimate from Fernando in the previous fight, which means it won't be available for the objective capture. That's a free kill with Dragon Punch right there. Potentially the only counter is going to be juked or blocked by illusions, and if it's not onto teevee, who does happen to get Immortal back once again, it is likely going to be a direct kill onto Buck, who has been causing pretty significant issues in the backline. But as you said, the kill streak shut down completely. This is looking good for the Dons. It's going to be a long overtime push, but they're actually going to go for it.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, you might as well. I mean, you're not just going to let it just the overtime tick off. You want to at least get some more damage done, and you want to get that objective time built for you as well. So,
well, you get credits from the objective time.
Exactly, and that's the biggest thing right now. And even though they might not force the issue, at this point, you don't want to utilize ultimates. If it was a situation where they could have re-engaged a little bit further behind the line of the payload, it would have been worthwhile. But again, as we expect, the Don's not committing fully to that payload push, and we're going to see just about every single ultimate on board, with the exception of DrkBlack and teevee for this next fight.
Problem is, teevee's ultimate is what keeps the team alive, and without that available, that means that people are going to be eating chickens for dinner if the polymorph comes out, and expect that in combination with Dragon Punch to make sure there is no escape potentially for DrkBlack right here. So, as you said, the Dons, all ultimates left available. No cauterized pickups past rank 1, though. How are you feeling about this, fighting into a Ying?
I'm not upset about it, because I think at a certain level you do need to make sure you're getting some Havens online, but at some point you do need to utilize at least a couple cauterized 2s on board, just to make sure that Ying does not have as much of an impact as she naturally brings from face value. And here are all the ultimates at once!
And that will be an Evil Mojo cleaning things up to begin with. Immediate 2 kills going in the way and in the favor of the team in red. The Dons taking advantage here as they shut down DrkBlack as well. teevee and Arinnar left alive. teevee needs to disengage. They hit a huge fireball onto Zangief, but Zangief can disengage, and Killer Umbrellas gets the shutdown, but they're in a bad spot here. They need to escape. Khario also in a bad spot, taken out by Makoa. You're in the wrong place at the wrong time there, Ying, and this Ying needs to work on their positioning, as they are repeatedly putting themselves into a terrible position. Barrage from Victor not going to connect. RatedW taken out by a direct hit from the Drogos, and Makoa pulling in DrkBlack as well. This is the DrkBlacks just falling apart. They didn't have the comeback.
Yeah, it was a desperation barrage there. It really wasn't going to land on anybody besides possibly finishing off Zangief, and that's a big waste of ultimate right now. And the Dragon Punch coming to try to counter out this potential re-engage. Looking for Fernando, will find it. That's huge. Now you can get aggressive if you're the Dons and hopefully get this payload moving very quickly.
Oh, you certainly can. Ancient Rage still on the board, as well as Killer Umbrellas with the Accursed Arm. If anybody's going to stall out, there is a flat-out counter to it when teevee is dead. We do also see that Bang 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 has picked up Morale Boost 2 for a 30% increase to their ultimate charge rate, so expect those chickens to be flying very often. Nice shot by Knessa so far, 1 kill to their name. teevee not shielding the team, instead trying to chase after Makoa, who's trying to lock Khario down, and this could be courtesy. Here's the Evil Mojo already available. Khario goes down as well as 2 quick kills on the back of that polymorph, and all of a sudden the payload conversion is wide open once again. DrkBlacks are in serious trouble here.
Highlight reel for Bang Bang right there, coming in to save Hawwk's life, and then also drops a clutch healing potion on Killer Umbrellas to secure that 3rd kill. The best pip ultimate we've seen so far this game was right there, and now this payload's in a spot where it could be converted.
So Arinnar, oh my goodness, so Arinnar playing lights out right now, lands the double kill, outplay 1 versus 3, is able to heal up as well. They kill Bang 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 as well, good grief. That's a 1v3 triple kill outplay for the Cassie right there. And Arinnar straight up saying, it's like, hey, Bang, you gonna play up? Well, guess what I can do too. The payload's being stalled out. Fernando is back on board. Immortal is still on the table, but at this point, we don't know due to a visual bug how much time is left on the clock. But you can't afford to use this ultimate again right at the start of a round. That has to be reserved for the capture, or your team is gonna collapse.
Yeah, or a desperate situation. If this payload does start moving, you definitely want to make sure you're not letting go of a defensor, because you could possibly move this score to even. You do not want to see it go 3-1. Fortunately, DrkBlack still playing lights out with this Buck right now, with the support of the rest of his team. Again,
oh my goodness,
this so often. It's this great play when you can have the rest of your team there to support you. You're never really truly by yourself when Ying's around. So that's great. And then that's great play there, and this is going to secure this defense most likely.
Okay, and so we are reaching the end of this particular payload push timer. If I'm no expert, we're about there. DrkBlack gonna push out, get a bit of distraction going. Finds Kinessa in the backline, doesn't get the kill though. Instead, chooses to jump in 1 versus 5 up and down. Does use Buck Wild here, but still picks up a kill as well. Continuing to slay, pushing forwards. A kill onto Kinessa, shut down by Hawwk, who does dredge them, but it's far too late. And good grief, DrkBlack showing that they're not out of it just yet. When they collapse hard, and the point score is 2-2. Despite the Dons putting on such an impressive showing so far.
You know, the other thing that we need to talk about a little bit as far as items go, you notice on the side of the DrkBlacks, they really don't feel obligated to take any offensive things. Like, they don't really need a record that much because it's just Makoa's shield. And on top of that, you don't really need a cauterize either because it's just Pip. So you're able to start to go into the utility and defensive side, allowing them to stay alive longer and allowing them also to try to either get more mobility, more ultimate cooldowns, or just the ability to get your general cooldowns up. Interestingly enough, your favorite pick is happening right now, aggression on RatedW, Fox.
Somebody wake me up. Is that what RatedW stands for? It's rated wake me up right now. Is the aggression pickup, of course, increasing Victor's damage by 5% per each shot. When you're fighting into Haven 2, it's a bit of a waste of credits. Would prefer to see Haven 3 or Morale Boost coming out once again. Polymorph onto RatedW. He's almost taken out Killer Umbrellas, quickly cleaning that one up. And there is just no counterplay to the Polymorph right now coming from the DrkBlacks as the players are crumbling. No counter kill. teevee taken down before Immortal is even used, but potentially DrkBlack turning things around, takes out Killer Umbrellas, has to jump away, can't jump away, bang, 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 bang with the shutdown play. And once again, the Dons up on point, stacking up the capture rate. And this is going to be almost curtains for the DrkBlacks if they lose this objective here.
A great initial flank from the Dons, and then again, they noticed that DrkBlack was still playing Buck and was still alive. They were able to turn around and focus that Buck down before he had the potential of going off, because there wasn't an option there. He had an opportunity to possibly get 2 or 3, and if that would have happened, we'd be looking at a very different situation. But instead, the team coordination and communication is very high, and resulted in a situation where we're up to 69% already taken.
But DrkBlack, unchecked, goes off in the backline again, takes out Kinessa, takes Drogos out of the air, and should take out Hawwk as well. Arinnar getting credit for that one, but the Ancient Rage has been used. Let's take a quick look at the scoreboard as the respawns are coming through. What ultimates do we have online for the Dons for the retake here? Well, there's Headhunter, but unless Kinessa's in position, that's not going to do too much. There is a Cursed Arm, and there is Dragon Punch, but teevee has been holding on so hard. They've been grasping onto that Immortal ultimate, so if Dragon Punch comes through, nobody is going to die.
Yeah, absolutely nobody. And DrkBlack able to stay alive and pop Buck Wild and now go in. The Accursed Arm from the distance isn't going to get a ton of damage done. Able to find Arinnar though, which is a huge pick, but DrkBlack is still active and on the scene. And it's going to be a good chicken up to get back into it.
Oh no, and DrkBlack gets Dragon Punched out of the issue because the Polymorph came through as teevee was trying to hold on to Immortal. Of course, if you use that right at the start of Dragon Punch's flight, you can actually wait out the Immortal, and this is just so good in the terms of ultimate combination. Bang has such good trigger discipline, but they also have such good knowledge of timings as well. But so Immortal not used in, I think, 2 rounds at this point, as teevee cannot find the opportunity to get it off, and it's always the target of Bang's Polymorph. This is such phenomenal coordination and play from the Dons.
That point was at 99% for the DrkBlacks. That is what we consider incredible team timing to get in there and convert. teevee needed to be a little bit more aware of what was happening. Here's another Evil Mojo though. As we get into it, there's 2 quick kills and a full team wipe comes on the back end of that play.
I am speechless right now. We knew that Bang had a good Pip, but they haven't been playing Pip for so long. Their Cassie's been so much the, well, they've been the showstopper, the star of the show right now. And all of a sudden, it comes down to this. It's like, hey, well, you know what? People have been sleeping on Pip. People have been undervaluing them. They've not been talking about Evil Mojo. Morale Boost 2 up in here, 30% increased ultimate charge rate. And what do you know? All of a sudden, your Havens are mitigating my damage, and you only have 1,500 health. Whilst we are seeing, once again, the stabilization play come in at about the same area that we have seen it previously, as DrkBlack does manage to chase down Zangief on the Drogos right there, assisted by Arinnar. I don't know. There's potential to break this once again.
Yeah, there is potential to break here. A good healing potion there, but it looks like both players kill Umbrellas and as well. Oh, that Killer Umbrella's still alive, actually. Able to find a double kill before falling himself. I thought for sure he was toast, but not quite the case there. And again, when you're dealing with Morale Boost, now 3 for the Pip, that's when you start feeling an impact. When you know, Haven 3 doesn't make a difference when you only have 1,500 HP and you're a chicken. That's the big key there. And as we see this thing most likely go to 3-3 overall, that Evil Mojo is going to pay dividends for this last capture point if we get to that point.
No kidding, and up in the air we do have a Cursed Arm. Double kill with one shot for Killer Umbrellas. teevee far too spread out from the rest of the team to be able to contest and must run for their dear life right now and regenerate out of combat. We are seeing on the far side of things DrkBlack causing some distraction, but they're really not that much of an issue. Arinnar is, however, and they turn around. Oh no, Dredge straight into Hawwk. The direct shots, Ross in his prime shuts them down with a scope shot as well from Kinessa, but they are being aggressed onto by DrkBlack. This could still be a stabilization point, but these Makoa Dredge anchors, they are absolutely on point, and DrkBlack cannot survive. But once again, it's just non-stop action as RatedW lands the barrage onto Zangief right there, taking out the Dragon Punch before it is already available, but that was not triggered. It is still going to be available on respawn, and teevee no longer has Immortal.
Yeah, the barrage was very well used there, though. Getting the conversion while the channel was happening for Dragon Punch was so huge. It was actually able to take Pip down to about 50% of his HP, which resulted in that pickup kill. And again, 3-3 is the scoreline. It comes down to this. Again, the Dons are up 1-0 on maps. This is the second map in the finals. It's going to come down to a very heated point. The Dons do, although, have the advantage in ultimate charge.
There's no room for error here. If the DrkBlacks don't want to be facing a reverse sweep to pull themselves back into the first place spot, they need to play immaculately, and they just haven't been able to pull out that degree of cohesion so far, and they found no counter to Pip. You know, going into the next round, potentially in the next map, do you take Pip away from Bang? Do you have to take Cassie and Pip away? I don't think you can afford that with both of them, but you don't win games by defenses. You have to get this objective. So can the DrkBlacks pull something incredible out? They're going to fight face to face straight down the corridor. A massive fireball. Drogo so low, but the polymorph counter comes through. Killer Umbrellas with one, RatedW with one as well, but no healing. Ying has already been taken down. teevee does aggress on the Killer Umbrellas. This could be the play we've been waiting for, as Bang is so low too, but nobody's shutting Kinessa down. She has the opportunity to deal damage, but she can't find the angles right now. She's being pressured out so much, and even though Hawwk is still up and available, has Ancient Rage to keep themselves ticking, it's not going to be quite enough until the respawns start coming through, as DrkBlack shuts down Ross in his prime, and Hawwk begins to crumble versus all of that Victor damage.
Yeah, staying alive for at least a little bit longer while his team comes back in, but the clutch there was the fact that Evil Mojo did not hit either the Buck nor the Fernando, and that's what needs to be. You need to target at least one of them. If you can get one of them off the board, you're in an advantageous spot, because either they don't have a tank or they don't have their disruptor. That's an overextension by DrkBlack, but it's not really going to make too much of a difference. He'll be up again by the time this next engagement happens, so a good try to stall there.
Well, you say the next engagement by the time it happens, but actually it's Dragon Punch coming in. No, teevee locked in Immortal just in time. The Dredge anchors just a fraction of a second too early. Whilst Barrage is coming down from RatedW, they're going to be met straight with a polymorph, shut down by the fire spit. teevee able to stay alive. They need a team support. It's going to come in the form of DrkBlack and their healing. Killer Umbrellas with the Accursed Arm will get the shutdown though. That's 4,000 damage on a Buck, and there is no out healing that unless you have a Grover on the field. The Dons, they've got the full retake off the back of these ultimates, and they're already stacking up capture. They're already stacking up charge. 85 points in favor of DrkBlacks. This is it. It is going to be neck and neck, and we cannot afford a conga line here. The DrkBlacks have to regroup. They have to reconvene, but who's going to make the first move?
It has to come on the back shoulder of DrkBlack, who's coming in, finding Bang Bang out by himself, though. This could be huge, but no, the counter. Killer Umbrellas is able to close the distance with Nether Step and get the big shots to shut down DrkBlack. Numbers advantage now for the Dons.
And teevee will manage to clean up Zangief on the backside. That's good, but they're very low on HP. No Immortal available, no Ying available too. It's got to come on the back of damage. Arinnar's played up before, but can they do it again? They're running. It's overtime. Back onto the objective. Shut down by Bang. This one, folks, should be going to the Dons, but teevee can respawn again. And once again, for the last time potentially this game, DrkBlack is back on the objective, dropping the mad damage. Up and over. Straight back down again, but met with a polymorph. These chickens are being fried. That's the capture rolling through, and the Dons, for the second time today in the finals, they take the map and advance 2-0 over the DrkBlacks.
MVP to Killer Umbrellas, able to come through in the very thick of things. A couple of missed polymorphs where the Evil Mojo didn't quite catch either the Buck or the Fernando. They were able to get a couple other side kills, but the big factor there is when you can take out your Fernando, when you can take out the Buck, you're going to be in an advantageous spot. Killer Umbrellas sees what's going on the stage, closes the gap, gets right in the face of DrkBlack, and does just immense amounts of damage, front, faced, and forward, and now it gets 2 maps to none. The Dons are in a very good spot.
But as we're looking at those stats on the scoreboard, for me, you're talking about killer umbrellas. Whilst they did come through clutch at the end, and that was really ultimately it only takes that one clutch play right at the end to go for the game when it's 3-3 and it comes down to the last objective. But talk about consistency. Bang sitting at 3,000 credits right there, 51 eliminations, the highest in the game by a long shot, by almost 10. That's 9 eliminations higher than killer umbrellas. Fewer deaths than killer umbrellas, sitting at 13, which is almost the lowest in the game as well. And look, doesn't matter about the healing, the damage. The highest damage in the game on Pip.
Yeah. I mean,
what
again,
is this?
if you can hit direct shots, you know, with Pip, the damage output is real. It's very real. And especially when you consider the poison bomb slows people, it makes it that much easier. And on top of that, if you're turning everybody into a chicken, it's super simple at that point. Not to say that playing Pip is easy, because it's not. You have to have discipline when you control your cooldowns, when you utilize abilities, and how you move around the map to make sure your lob shot is hitting more often than not. And again, Bang has the experience to know exactly how the mechanic of the lob shot works and how to get direct hits, and it shows right there. But again, you know, when you're dealing with a full team force, it's just you can't just pick Pip away. You can't pick Cassie and Pip, can you? Are you really going to waste 2 picks just to counter out Bang?
Well, what happens if you pick Cassie and Pip? They go, well, we're going to grab triple frontline and goodbye. So
Exactly.
you've got to balance out your picks, but which one do you not want to deal with? Honestly, I think considering that Bang's evil mojo usage was so on point, it's better to let the Cassie go, put Arinnar on Droxus where they have real carry potential and play up so well, and just don't let Bang get Pip again. We know that Khario has a Pip in their kit, but that runs the risk of, you know, Khario losing Ying and somebody else picking up Ying, and the last thing you want is Bang running around as Cassie with Ying illusions behind them. That is going to be devastating. Either way, folks, let's take a final look at the maps coming up. We should have the next map pick coming through. What is it gonna be?
It's Jaguar Falls.
That is a spicy one. We're taking a break. We've actually seen, so far, we've seen the Ice Mines. Now we're going to Jaguar Falls in game number 3. We got a nice, interesting dynamic. Once again, we're going for a more open map like Frog Isle was, with a few tighter choke points. Do we see any niche picks here? Do we see the Freak Bomb King come out? I know that Fats isn't playing for the DrkBlacks, but if they can maybe channel that in there and pull out some hot Metro Boomin play, is that going to be their saving grace?
First of all, I love Metro Booming. Second of all, if you do end up taking away one of these picks, a Cassie or a Pip, what this does open up for the Dons is that all aggression Buck gameplay that we've seen before on this map. So it's very possible that we might see the Buck go back over. Who knows? I couldn't tell you because I don't know, but I'm just saying that that is an option, and that could be a niche pick that the Dons might look to utilize if some of those characters do get stolen away early.
Interesting stuff. Either way, folks, as we said, Jaguar Falls, and it all comes down to this. If the DrkBlacks want to go ahead and take the first place spot this week, they need the reverse sweep. The 3 maps in the row to come out on top. As far as the bronze match update goes, however, I just want to let you know that Arise Esports and Verdu are currently tied 1-1. So we got another nail biter going on at the same time as all of this. It is so unfortunate that we can't bring every single game to you, but I hope you are cheering for both of those teams there, because I am so excited to see who comes out on top. And going into next week, in the week 2 of the North American Challenger Circuit, we are going to have some absolutely incredible levels of gameplay coming through. Either way, my name is Vox, being joined by iHoldShift, and we will see you in game number 3 coming up after the break. This is it, folks. Everybody, my name is Vox, joined by iHoldShift, and we are now into Game 3, at least the champion picking screen of Game 3, between the Dons and the DrkBlacks. Showing great performance and great gameplay, the Dons took out Game 2 in a 4-3 victory over the DrkBlacks on Ice Mines. We're now onto Jaguar Falls, and the team composition should be available on your screen right now. Of course, champion drafting is done via paper separately beforehand, but Shift, take me through some of these compositions. We're seeing, once again, some a bit strange picks. We got an EV in here, we got some flex picks, and we have seen both Cassie and Pip stripped away from Bang.
Yeah, that's the storyline, and you actually called that one, so props to you and your clairvoyance there, Vox. Cassie and Pip were, in fact, the 2 first picks for DrkBlacks. Dons had the first overall pick since the map was chosen by the DrkBlacks, and that first overall pick was Nando, of course, going to be played by Ross in his prime. And then Cassie Pip was the immediate response. So if you're looking at the kryptonite, what is it for the DrkBlacks? They seem to consider it just to be Bang, and he's going to be picking up Victor, which was the last overall pick for the Dons. But running through the rest of the picks for the DrkBlacks, they started off with Cassie Pip, as I said. And then since they did that, they actually gave up the 2 frontlining tanks. Nando and Makoa were then picked up, of course, by the Dons. Barrack is the 3rd pick, making sure that they don't get all 3 frontliners. So Barrack will be running the front line for the DrkBlacks. Eevee was the last overall pick, and Adroxus as well. So running through that lineup, you see teevee playing Eevee, Khario again on Pip, as we expect. Arinnar trying to still lock down that Cassie. RatedW will be playing Adroxus, who we haven't seen him play that character quite yet, and DrkBlack actually on the Barrack. So on the other side, Don's picking the Nando Makoa first, and then responding with the Drogos, Ying, and Victor. And those are going to be, again, like I said, Bang on Victor. Hawwk playing Makoa as he has done so far. Zangief still on that awesome Drogos pick. Killer Umbrellas will be rocking the support with Ying, and Ross in his prime. Again, like as aforementioned, will be running for Nando. So if you were to look at this, who has the better draft in your opinion, Vox?
It's got to be hands down the Dons. One of the main reasons for me is you're playing a Barrack into a Drogos, and that's just a disaster because Fire Spit goes to the top. Hey, you got some turrets down there? Well, goodbye. So they say as the double Fire Spit. Of course, most players running the Masterful 4 card will be coming out, and that's 2,000 quick damage onto everything over the barricade already. So if the DrkBlacks want to come out on top of this, they got to go for picks. They have to take away players and then deal with the tanks. But they got to close the gap on a Bang. We do have teevee playing Eevee. We know that Victor is very susceptible to Eevee, but with no more blink and ice block, you got to watch out for Hawwk on that Makoa, because as soon as teevee blinks into the back line, I do certainly expect the Dredge Anger to come out. It's going to be isolating and stunning out teevee, which means that they should be collapsed upon immediately. So with that in mind, the only pick left which we can talk about is Pip. If Khario plays up, if they land the evil mojos, and if they capitalize on them, maybe with an evil mojo into a Cursadam combination, then who knows? It may go in the way of the DrkBlacks, but I would say that this one is stacked for the Dons right now.
Yeah, compositionally, it is a more full team approacher for the Dons, but the X factor here results in the potential ability to do tons of damage on the side of the DrkBlacks. teevee, is he's able to find the Victor and shut him down quickly. That's 1 out of the way, and then you have 5 major damage dealers. If obviously as Barrack gets in the face of people with the turret mark, he does an extreme amount of damage to those tanks. It is possible for the DrkBlacks to do enough damage to mitigate out these 2 frontlining tanks and still control a point, but like you said, it is going to come off the backside of some gaping picks on the outside of fights. There's no way you can go into the Dons face up.
Oh no, and you just can't match them in a 5v5 team fight. You've got to be very careful about your positioning, and you have to outthink and outplay them. In order to do so, we'll have to get into game first so we can see the results coming up very, very shortly. I'm sure that you can see that we now have the map picking phase back on screen. We're just going to sync up our spectator modes, get straight into it, and we'll be back after a very short break. And so welcome back, champions, potentially for the final time today as we get into game number 3 of your Challenger Circuit Finals in week 1 of North America. My name is Vox, joined by I Hold Shift on the imaginary desk here, and your teams are as follows. We have 2 games down so far. It is the DrkBlacks on the left-hand side, Khario rocking out Pip, teevee picking up Eevee, maybe with the rockin' skin as well, Arinnar playing some Cassie, RatedW, Rated Androxus, and DrkBlack on Barrack.
On the flip side, for the Dons, looking to close it out with a 3-game sweep and be your undisputed week 1 champions. You're going to have Hawwk on the Makoa as usual. Bang Bang, as we had mentioned, playing Victor, which is new for him this tournament. Ross's prime on the Fernando. Killer Umbrellas actually switching over to support, playing Ying, and Zangief on Drogos. And it looks like we're going to be doing a little bit of right to left here as we get the points coming in.
I actually dig this right now. I love the barricade placement coming out of DrkBlack. You see, they've got the barricade in a place where you can't throw a Fire Spit up and above and over it, and teevee already picks up Bang on the backside. This is huge. Killer Umbrellas does take out teevee. The Ying is still available. Oh, Zangief closing out a kill into RatedW. This is bad. Zangief with a double kill so far, trying to find the triple kill into Barak, who might get the trade. DrkBlacks with a double kill of their own, though. This Barak play is amazing right now. Arinnar able to take out Ross as well, and against all odds and against all expectations, we are going to see the point capture go in favor of the DrkBlacks. Now, teevee blinking forwards just distracts for the time being, forces Victor out, who continues to drop some damage. Dredged in, though, is Khario. They're in a lot of trouble. They got to get out of danger. The salvo from above combined with Bang is enough to take them out, and once Double Tank gets back on the objective, this could mean curtains for the DrkBlacks, but it looks like they're going to stall for the time being. Nobody willing to step onto the objective due to the vast amounts of damage that are coming out from either team. Now, as you may be aware, we have a pause going on right now, so let's go ahead, pull up the scoreboard, and see what we can break down in the meantime. And one thing that's standing out to me is DrkBlack on Barak versus a Drogos versus a Double Tank and Victor lineup is 3-0-1.
Yeah, a lot of that comes off the conversion of teevee getting in the backline and finding that first blood. Even though he did fall, the 4-on-4 favors the damage, again, of the DrkBlacks. When you have your Cassie, your Andro, your Barak, and even your Pip still up, there's just more damage potential against when there's just 2 tanks and 2 other side characters. That's why that first point is successfully pushed all the way to 68% for the DrkBlacks. And if you're looking at the side of the Dons, you need to make sure you're controlling your outside flanks, because if you don't, that damage is just going to wash right over you. And again, with the kind of spread between Havens and Cauterizes and the Wreckers for the Dons, it could go either way.
Basically, what you're saying to me here is also it comes down pretty heavily to the itemization which these teams are able to pick up. So let's look at that to start off with. And we do have DrkBlacks picking up triple cauterize to begin. Khario, especially notably with that splash damage, is very good at applying anti-heal. And when you're fighting into a Ying, that is so important. As Shift, you've been such an advocate of how deadly Ying is early into these games, especially before cauterize comes online. Just keeping especially tanks online or carries like Bang for so long.
Yeah, and that's the real clutch there as far as illumination on the map and where do you place your illusions, because the more vision you get, obviously you know where you can securely place stuff. And you could tell from that first engagement they went over to the sunroom to start things off, and inside of that room there were so many nooks and crannies to put down illusions that will not get hit. And that's exactly what we saw initially, which is why getting that initial pick from teevee is huge. And then besides that, if you can get your cauterizes online and you can start harassing those frontliners that are getting the majority of their healing from Ying, and you can start to mitigate that balance, well, then you're going to have a less differential to cover as far as how damage reaches the healing of the opposite team, as I stumble over words a little bit.
Well, it's nothing that I haven't done so far today. I can certainly say that I've stumbled over a few of my words right there. We do have Khario, I think, loading back in any second now after a DC, which is why you have seen a pause come into effect. Of course, both teams allowed 1 pause per game, not 2. So if there is another crash, they will not be allowed a pause at all. That player will just have to reconnect whilst the game is going on. If you would like a full breakdown of the rules regarding this, they are available via the Paladins World website. But there's one other card choice, or one other itemization, which I would like to talk about here, Shift. We've got 2 Havens across the board for each team. Now, with regards to Haven, it reduces direct damage impacts. Now, one thing I have recently confirmed with Kret, one of the designers for Paladins, is that Haven does no longer or does not reduce the damage from direct impacts from AoE projectiles. So it won't reduce damage from teevee's Ice Staff. It also won't reduce the damage at all from Khario's direct impacts as Pip. That all comes down to Blast Shields. Now, with this split damage on the board, do you go for Haven? Do you go for Blast Shields here? What's the split which is necessary in order to keep yourself safe and tanky as the game resumes and the Dons start to clean up the fight?
Yeah, Don's definitely cleaning up the outsides again, and now having the control point with 2 illusions, you're going to be able to get everyone back to 8 full HP before you get another 5-on-5. But getting back to that first point of why take Haven over, taking a Blast Shields. I don't know if a lot of players know about that, about AoE projectiles not getting covered by Haven when it's direct damage. I don't know if people know about that, which is an interesting point of contestation. But on the flip side, you see 3 Havens, even though there is a Drogos, and of course you're trying to counter out the potential damage that is produced by the Evictor. So I mean, it's kind of an interesting situation as far as taking that. But again, you can see how much this fluctuation and how much mobility and what that means as far as the Don's able to be able to move around the map. They're able to get around, get those flanks secured, and make sure that their tanks are able to just comfortably sit on the point. Haven's going to be a pickup, though. I mean, it's just the way it's going to go, especially for the Dons against the Cassie and the Andro. It's a smart pickup there.
It certainly is. Also reducing damage from DrkBlacks shotgun on Barak as well, and we can see that pushing forwards the payload relatively unhindered. Look at the positioning right here of all of the players on the Dons around the objective as Khario gets pulled in by the dredge anchor as well, and a lot of trouble is taken out by Bang. They're all grouping around the payload in sort of a pentagon formation. They spread out when necessary, they collapse when necessary behind the payload, using it as cover with a frontliner at the front. They have a shield at the front to just block all incoming damage. DrkBlack behind though is causing some issues. Bang very low. This is the dome shield going down for DrkBlack. They look like they're about to fall. The Ying heal is good enough to keep them alive, however, and this is the payload being stalled out for the first time so far with 1 minute and 30 seconds left on the clock, but only momentarily as Bang continues to clean up, and the rest of the team are now relying on respawns in order to keep the payload stalled out and in contention.
Yeah, but split focus here as Khario was able to get in the back, and RatedW able to focus the front. There is split distraction going on there for the side of the DrkBlacks, and able to punish and chase down a couple of kills with the support of Arinnar as well, and they're able to hold this off for now. But still, a minute left to go. The payload is right at that nasty choke point by the bridge, and it's going to be a tough fight here. It's going to come down to who can maneuver and find the hole first. Hawwk is trying to make an opening, and he's getting punished for it very severely.
Did you see the amount of damage coming out of DrkBlack there? That improved hit registration on Barak's shotgun is nothing to mess with right there. Tons of damage coming through, but here's a barrage once again from Victor. It's not going to find anybody so far. Behind you, got to watch out. DrkBlack loses almost all of their HP. The healing potion from Pip will keep them alive momentarily. Oh, nice polymorph as well, but Arinnar can't find the shot. Zangief is able to get out of dodge. No, cleaned up by Arinnar as teevee with the double kill is able to stall out. 25 seconds left on the objective timer right now as the payload pushes towards conversion, and it will start to roll back. The Dons, they've got to give this one up. You cannot push into overtime right here. If you waste ultimates, you're going to set yourself up for failure going through, but potentially they can bait them coming out of DrkBlack's team, and that's exactly what's happened with the Ice Storm from Eevee already being used.
If you could see my face right now, it would say a million words about why. Why use the Ice Storm there? Conversely, though, going back to the positives, Khario saved everything underneath that bridge engagement simply because teevee was an ice block with very low HP, and right as ice block was coming off, the evil mojo hit, allowing teevee to find one more kill, and of course the Cassie, who was also on low HP and kind of panicking for a second, had a second to compose themselves and then finally capitalize on that pick deeper, closer to the checkpoint. 1-1 the scoreline, but again, that Ice Storm not being up is going to be huge.
It's really, really big because it's not just the shutdown to Victor, which provides the AoE damage and the sticking Drogos to the ground, but if they can lock down Killer Umbrellas as Ying with a cripple, they can't dimensional link to their illusions around the corner to safety. That's not going to happen now. We're going to have Ying permanently alive unless teevee gets a very lucky pick. Once again, the positioning coming through, but this time, Ross in his prime is ready. The fireball damage is huge. Dredged into the depths is DrkBlack. They're in so much trouble right now. Healing potion enough to keep them alive. Dome shield goes down as well, but Ancient Rage used to counter DrkBlack so low, and Zangief for the Dragon Punch can clean up as well. Ancient Rage continuing. RatedW way out of their depth. Must be careful. Arinnar tries to clean up, but they're taking too much poke, and the positioning of the Ying's illusions to heal is so on point. This is the Don's game. This is the Don's map, and the Don's out-drafting composition. Even that Accursed Arm can barely tickle them right now, and the capture is only getting further and further in their favor.
What's the point of utilizing it there, RatedW? It's desperation, trying to find a little bit of a pick, and now you're getting punished because you don't have any way to instigate. You have no way to get into this. teevee falls to the backline again. That Eevee change making her so much more hard to kind of maneuver around the map, and it's just coming down to this inexperience of when to hold on to ultimates. I know you're running low on HP, you want to use it, or you're in a dire situation, you want to try to make a big play, but it's not paying off when you're playing up against a solid team comp, especially one that has two strong shields.
It feels like what we're watching right now is the change from a team playing as a unit to a team going back to playing as individual players, which is unfortunate and maybe caused partially by the fact that they've lost 2 games in a row, both very, very close, and they may be tilting here. They may also just be going back to comfort picks, which they haven't practiced as a team comp before. But once again, teevee playing on the backside, okay, their solo is Eevee. That's sort of expected here. However, the rest of the team, we're seeing RatedW, as you said, with the ultimate usage, it's not what you expect from a high-level challenges team, and they need to have a better trigger discipline and potentially need to work on their tilting here in order to make sure that they keep on playing as a unit rather than just the individuals.
Absolutely. I mean, I couldn't say it better myself. And right now, you need to have a strong defense right here, right against this entryway to your base, if we could call it that, for the side of the DrkBlacks. And there's a good Ice Storm. That's the one you need to try to finish off some of these tanks.
But the tanks, they're staying alive. DrkBlack trying to dive into the backline for the conversion does kill out Hawwk, but Ross can quickly clean them up, and now all of a sudden, the only frontliner on DrkBlack's team, DrkBlack himself, has been taken down, and it's damage and respawn proximity, which is going to keep this payload stalled out. Whilst it has worked out momentarily, it's really not the kind of play that you want to be making currently. You are in so much danger. Ultimate's online as well. This could be a conversion opportunity, as Dragon Punch and Barrage are both now coming up and available. Ying has her Illusory Rift as well for the extra healing. We're about to see players start to push in through the gap with 1 minute and 5 seconds left on the clock, and this could very, very well be curtains for DrkBlack.
Yeah, you need to find a pick right now, though, if you're the Dons. DrkBlack is feeling pretty confident, able to stay around this turret placement, get healed up a little bit, and still poke right in the face of the Dons, and they haven't been able to move this at all. Killer Umbrella is able to having to use the ult just to stay alive. The Barrage will scare people away, and now it's the Dragon Punch looking for a pick. It will find one, a nice connect just before DrkBlack can get around the corner.
And that is so, so important right now. DrkBlack still does have the ultimate available when they come back online. The Dome Shield and Flamethrower Turret going down in combination might be enough to stall things out momentarily. Does Pip have Evil Mojo? Khario does, but you don't want to use it here once again. Killer Umbrella's very low, has to be finished off here. They're able to be at full HP, and no, the Evil Mojo is used just to take out Makoa. It doesn't even hit Fernando. All of a sudden, we are seeing the stabilization come through, but once again, the ultimate trigger discipline is just not good enough for this level of play. We're seeing ultimates wasted, and those have to be saved for the initial capture objective because the Dons just have the better draft for this situation.
It's a tough decision to make. It really is, because yeah, you're on defense, and defense is easier than pushing the payload, but at the same point, you do not want to go down 3-1. Unfortunately, it was a waste. teevee was able to get a lot of direct hits and get that double kill we saw near the end. Arinnar able to convert one as well. So again, the cleanup is very strong, and a lot of it's tough because when you're looking at the team and you're your pit player, your Khario, you're looking at this, the enemy's right here in my face, and they're all relatively healthy. I need to do something to make sure my team has a chance to convert. What they forget and neglect to realize is that Arinnar and teevee combined could do so much burst damage so quickly, and it's tough. You know, you need to trust in your team to do that. You need to trust in your team to get that damage down, and to just play as a Pip to be disciplined and only use it in desperation moments. I don't think that was the best spot, but at the same point, it wasn't the worst thing in the world. Now it's 2-2, and you're in a decent spot. But here we go. Shields are completely mitigating the Accursed Arm and the Ice Storm, and now it's the Immortal. Here comes the re-engage from the Dons.
Oh, that Ancient Rage keeping Hawwk so tanky, chasing down DrkBlack. DrkBlack in so much trouble, is able to place a turret down. They might be able to go for the outbox, and actually on top of that ultimate coordination, even though the shields blocked all of the Accursed Arm damage, it will be the DrkBlacks coming up on top. You know, I was going to say, this has been the story of the DrkBlacks so far. They've taken defenses, they have been so, so good on the stabilization, but when it comes down to point capture, they've been lacking. 54 points and climbing, up in the air as Drogo's looking to rain down some damage, but the DrkBlacks are locking this down. Can they hold here with the ultimates all down? Nothing available, but Bang is racking up his barrage up as Victor so quickly. It's gonna come down to this last point fight. They gotta scatter, but Rated R immediately cracks things open with a great kill into Hawwk. The damage rains down from Barrage, but no capitalization so far. Victor goes down as well to Arinnar. This is looking great for the DrkBlacks.
It's all Arinnar right now. He is going absolutely hambony on the point. He's going crazy. He's getting all of these clutch shots, dodge rolls in and out, able to capitalize just so well. And it's interesting because he's got one level of nimble, which I questioned for a second, but he's moving around the map that much faster and getting himself in a position to peek these corners and get tons of damage done. He's securing all of these kills, which is a big thing we've been talking about with Cassie, is she needs to secure kills. Arinnar filling out that role well with a 13 streak right now. Just behind him, the rest of his team at 11, 12, and 11 on the streaks. It is all the DrkBlacks right now.
So here's my issue. The DrkBlacks, they've taken this objective. Now they're fighting a double shield. Hold that thought, though. Oh my god, triple polymorph, but no capitalization. But there is capitalization. Arinnar did take out the tanky Fernando. That is huge right now with, the fire spit cleaning up DrkBlack on the backside of that fight. And it looks like we are seeing stabilization come out of the boys in red. Right now, they are trying to hold on to this. But Arinnar, once again, he's just not being stopped. He is savage right now, says the announcer. Dredged in by Hawwk. They're in a lot of trouble. They will eventually go down. The stabilization play comes through from the red team. However, the DrkBlacks showed potential despite not having wreckers on board at all, going instead just for Cauterize 2 on 4 of their players. Polymorph really just breaking that door open. If they can get another one of those ultimates off from Pip, if they can get the Evil Mojo onto the 2 tanks and take both of them out whilst they are polymorphed with only 1500 HP on the board, they might be able to actually rush this through for conversion.
Yeah, and they just wiped out a bunch of kill streaks, so just about every single member, with the exception of Hawwk, who's only 7% away, have their ultimates ready to go. You hear a couple being procced, a Cursed Arm, as well as the Ying ultimate being used here, and it's just a trade of damage, and it's going in favor of the DrkBlacks, even considering they're down on ultimates.
Oh my goodness, they don't even need Wrecker right now. Arinnar cannot be stopped. They've got to get the shutdown play onto him at some point as the payload begins to roll through. And Khario with morale boost 2 at 80% on their ultimate. This could be curtains. DrkBlacks sitting on the lockdown right now for Barak. He's in the backline barrage, coming down onto a couple of players. But RatedW, fantastic reversal right there. Zangief shut down once again by Arinnar. Immortal has been forced by Ross, but this is dangerous. DrkBlack has no turret available. He has no lockdown available because he's already dead right now. You have no frontliner in this situation. Shift, what do? Do you save for the point fight, or do you commit fully with 15 seconds left on the clock?
At this point, if you are on the side of DrkBlacks, if you're rooting for them in chat, you're rooting for them to get these ultimates built up here in this last couple seconds. Don't force anything crazy. You do not want to lose your kill streaks on Arinnar and RatedW, because that's going to get, again, the Dons in a position to get those ultimates back up. Immortal was used a little prematurely there, not able actually to mitigate much damage at all, as everyone was pretty much still alive, and there's only one player left for the DrkBlacks. But regardless, it's all the Dons right here, and this is what you expect. Ultimates are pretty much even, a couple that are close, a couple that are active. This is going to be a hot fight going on this last control point.
And once again, we're at 3-3, folks. It all comes down to this. The Dons could take the entire tournament and the first placing from today. However, the DrkBlacks, they can claw themselves back into this. They have the potential. They took the last objective, and now they have the itemization too, with Haven 3s coming online, Cauterize 2 being stacked up. We've got Morale Boost 3 for Pip, and the ultimates are on board. DrkBlack with that flamethrower turret Dome Shield lockdown ultimate available will zone out all players from the objective if he rushes it, and Khario could clean up. Now, Shift, there's a bait potential here as well. We could see Fried Chicken coming out if you sort of wait for the enemy team to get onto the objective, polymorph, and then flamethrower turret. Is that the combo we need, or do we just want to get straight there and just hold?
I think as far as securing or recapturing a point, that's the combo you need. Here comes the Drogo's ult to see how this takes us for the rest of this fight. It doesn't find anybody quite yet. It is shut down by teevee.
teevee actually took Drogo's out of the air, mid-air with an EV Ice Staff hit, is able to blink up into the air, gets out of safety. Arinnar, so low on HP, is in a lot of trouble, taken out by the fireball right there. And despite such a fantastic point hold, DrkBlack, the tank, the frontliner, is chasing down the enemies on the backside of the objective. Here it goes, potential with a double kill for the flamethrower turret to go down. Polymorph onto the tanks as well. Rosness Prime so low, but they can't find the kill as the healing is just too much. Here it goes, flamethrower turret down, lots of damage with the Ice Storm on the objective as well. The points are currently neck and neck. We're seeing the Drogos taken out round the backside by Arinnar, shut down. There is no more big AoE damage. Barrage, though, is raining down from Victor. Bang could clean things up, but still, the ball is in the court of the DrkBlacks here, and they look like they're going to close it out. 70 points and climbing. This is absolutely nail-biting right here, as they look like they're about to pull themselves back in. Ross has to be the one to make their move.
And here he goes here with, again, not much as far as support from his team. They're getting to this fight late, but they are able to hold off for a second. The Accursed Arm is countered by the Immortal plus the Turtle Shield.
Still doesn't matter though, as RatedW was able to take out Killer Umbrellas for the healing there, and oh my goodness, we are seeing Zangief with a bit of a turnaround. We're seeing the Ancient Rage on the objective, but DrkBlack is too tanky. The healing is obnoxious coming out of these turrets right now, and that is the cleanup play. The disengage from the fire spit is huge, but it's not quite enough. Ying by herself cannot get onto the objective to contest, and for the first time at 3-3, the DrkBlacks pull themselves back into the game, and they take a map of the dominant Dons so far.
A lot of the end of that game was there was no team play. It was just individuals fighting at all over the map. There was 2 separate battles going on in the Sunroom, one going on over by the ruins, one happening on one side of the defensive spot for DrkBlack, and then another on the point. It was all over the place, and I don't even care how bad that is by a team because it was so entertaining to watch.
Oh my goodness. The only thing I can say is, Mum, get the camera. We actually in there, and DrkBlack leading the charge for their team with 45 eliminations on Barak, 11 deaths, one of the lowest stat lines for deaths on their team on the game, and actually almost leading the damage charts. But hey, guess who is right at the top there? It's Arinnar, the man of the hour. Arinnar right there on Cassie went off on one, rivaling some of Bang's earlier play. And you know what? Taking away the Cassie, taking away the Pip, really, really worked out. It put Bang in a poor situation. We're going on to the next match. map, folks. This best of 5 set has reached 4 games. Shift, do you have an update on what that map might be?
Let me take a look real quick. It will be picked by the loser of that game, as this last one was. So Jaguar Falls is picked by the DrkBlacks, and now the Dons get a chance to pick what map they want first, and that will be back to Frog Isle.
Ooh.
Are we able to do that since it was played earlier? I don't know.
We'll get back to you about that, folks, with a complete update on what map has actually been selected in just a second as soon as the administrators have verified that. Of course, we are utilizing a paper map drafting system and a paper champion drafting system because those are currently not built into the game, so occasionally there can be miscommunications there, but we're working on it and we're working to make sure it is a seamless solution to everything. However, if we take a look at the brackets really quickly, we should have an update from the bronze match, as that is only a best of 3, and it is actually Verdu who take the 2-1 over Arise and are in your 3rd place spot this week. Looking good, looking strong, ready to come back fighting fit next week. However, we're going with this set. It's all about the Dons. It's all about the DrkBlacks. So you take away Cassie, you take away Pip. It's a good look. Do you think the Dons are going to let that happen again? Have they got a special pocket pick up their sleeve?
I mean, it's tough to say this, but this is literally the Bang show. Like, it is just all about what he can do and getting down in his hero pool, forcing him to play Victor, which still he did a good job on. It's not the extravagance that we've seen on him playing both Pip or Cassie. The issue here is the Dons will be able to pick one of those 2 characters. You don't figure that DrkBlacks, who have the first overall pick, are going to allow them to have Fernando Makoa. Because if you get Fernando Makoa on the choice of map by the Dons, you're going to be in a spot where you're at to fight uphill. And I think you're going to see either Cassie or Pip get picked up by the Dons this next game, as it looks like the map will go actually to Serpent Beach.
So we're on to Serpent Beach. We're on to the Sunken City, not Sunken City anymore. Point, it is Sundial, is otherwise known. And this is a wide open map. We have nice elevation around the objective. We have some tight corridors, which we talked about previously, and potential for the environmental hazard to really come into play. We're not seeing a Bomb King so far. I'm still hoping on the Bomb King, but I doubt it's coming at this point. I do expect to see just a rehashing of the existing compositions, and I find a Ruckus pick pretty unlikely considering the fact that you can just funnel damage straight down onto them, and they haven't got perfect positioning on this map like they potentially have on Frog Isle. However, as soon as those champion picks come through, we will let you know, and we'll take them through you live on the stream. But for now, sit back, relax, enjoy the music, and could this be the reverse sweep that we've all been waiting for? After a little bit of a delay, which we do apologize for, some technical difficulties on the players' ends, and they got back in time. Before the timer actually did end up ticking down, we are into our next game. It is 2-1 in favor of the Dons currently, and the picks should be displayed on the screen for you. I hold Shift, my co-commentator and partner in crime today. Please take me through the teams, because I'm seeing, once again, some weird janky picks coming through as we do get onto the next map.
Partner in crime. Well, first and foremost, I have no affiliation with any illegal activity with you, Vox. Do not loop me into that.
It's a turn of phrase. Shh, it's fine.
Oh, okay, my bad. We're not supposed to talk about that in public, are we? Going out first. So it will be it looks like the DrkBlacks will have first pick, because again, they are down. It will be Fernando picked up first. And as we anticipated, the Don's not going to let Cassie get away. Cassie Makoa was the first 2 picks there. So for those first 3 picks, DrkBlack going to be on that Fernando. Bang Bang, of course, as we would assume, playing Cassie. And then the Makoa tank will be Ross in his prime. Coming back up with the next 2 picks will be Pip and Drogos, played both by Khario and teevee, respectively. And then on the flip side, Andro, Buck. So there is that Buck pick there. Again, the map, keep in mind, is Serpent Beach. So those players will be Killer Umbrellas and Zangief on the Buck. And then rounding everything out, there's actually a Victor and then a Knessa. We'll talk about that in a second. Played by RatedW and Arinnar, respectively. And the last overall pick is Hawwk, who will be playing Barrack. So you have a Buck, you have an Andro, that's about it really when it comes down to shutting down the Knessa. What do you have to do on the side of the DrkBlacks to make sure your Knessa can be safe and put in substantial damage?
That's a very good question, because Buck acts as a direct counter to Drogos, to Knessa, and to Victor. Followed up by the damage up from Killer Umbrellas and Bang 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 Bang. It's looking pretty dangerous. I'm going to be completely honest here. I feel like unless Arinnar really shines on Knessa and is landing consistent headshots and consistent damage, there's actually no way to defend the Kinessa. In this situation, the Kinessa needs to defend herself, and the rest of the team have to try and stay alive alongside her. You do have Pip for some healing. Now, once the Evil Mojo comes online for Khario, you're going to be able to utilize that to counter the aggression, but just using Evil Mojo on one single opponent on Buck, yeah, it might keep your team alive, but is that the best solution in this particular situation?
Yeah,
Questionable.
it is questionable. You're absolutely right. And when you look at if you're rooting for the DrkBlacks here, you're in an unfavorable spot as far as composition with the Kinessa. But the problem here can also result for the Dons if they go in too hard for Kinessa early without the opening being there. Arinnar, teevee, and RatedW could all turn and focus down that Buck very quickly. And now you're in a position where the composition and a 4-on-4 or a 5-on-4 without the Buck being involved is actually favoring the DrkBlacks. So again, situational gameplay is going to be the key in this next matchup. And as you all are watching, keep an eye on that kill feed on the right, because as soon as you see Buck fall, I think we're going to start to see, as long as there are numbers in favor of the DrkBlacks, they will be able to manhandle any combination of the other four, possibly even just a 3-on-4 situation from the Dons, just because of their rate of sustained damage. And of course, having the burst damage of the Kinessa alone is a lot to kind of, shred through a team.
Well, there you have it, folks. We will be getting into game now. The screen is actually loading up in front of us, so we're going to go and pause. We're going to sync, and we'll be back after a very short break of 1 minute and 30 seconds. We'll see you in game number 4 of the Dons versus the DrkBlacks. And champions, welcome back. We are now into game 4. It is all underway between the Dons and the DrkBlacks. My name is Vox, joined by I Hold Shift. And once again, it is the tournament winning game. If the Dons look to close this out with a win, however, we could be still seeing the reverse sweep and the full 5 games in this best of 5 finals set coming up if the DrkBlacks manage to clutch away a win. The map is Serpent Temple. And tell me, we've got our lineups. We've already actually talked about them prior to this, so let's just go ahead and talk about itemization. Of course, you got to be careful as Kinessa of the damage coming out of Buck. So what is the counter to that coming from this time Shift?
The idea seems to be lying in get Haven and get it quick. Get it while it's hot. And that's exactly what's happening right here. The only difference being DrkBlack taking the Cauterize, which I am a little questioning, simply because Veteran is the only source of heal. But oh my goodness, look at all the damage coming out so early from that Fireball.
Oh no, and also, oh goodness gracious me, it is a absolute massacre right here. Such an early first blood from Rated R, and then Arinnar just able to collapse onto any remaining players from their elevated position. That's a full team wipe in only a few seconds for the Dons, who are the masters of the team fight. This is unprecedented so far, and oh my goodness, if they can keep this up, the Dons have a really good look. But look out for the backline flank. Gonna see a lot of damage put onto, Arinnar, who is shut down by Bang. Actually, Buck doesn't even have the time to get any kind of damage off, and now the teams are scattering. Pit pulled back into the mix, and this was not the play that we wanted to see coming out of the DrkBlacks right now, as they have been dove in the backline and are being shut down. But RatedW still alive, potential to come back. No, shut down finally by Buck right there, and it is only teevee remaining. The respawn starting to come through. Arinnar up on the high ground this time, can begin to poke out potentially, but they're being very hesitant to push forwards as they are nervous that another flank from Buck and Cassie may be coming around.
Yeah, you need to be able to scout out where that Cassie is and where that Buck is at just about all times. You have the ability to use this Spitfire to blow away people off the point. It's exactly what's happening with the Immortal on the point. It's looking like this could be a potential retake, but Bang Bang is still so alive. Not until anymore. There is the Dragon Punch.
That's it. That's perfect. That's target prioritization in real time there. teevee going, well, you know what? The Makoa's at low HP. We don't need to deal with them. Who is the player killing our backline? It's Bang 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 Bang. Cassie, get out of here. You are sent into next week, and the capture rolls through for the first time. The first capture in this game and in the entire set for the DrkBlacks. This is a really good look for them.
Yeah, and absolute, teevee's doing an incredible job of waiting to use Spitfire until there are players grouped up, so he's able to get as much AoE damage as possible. And Arinnar is making this Kinessa look super strong. He's going off hard right now. He's 4-1-3, 7-1 in overall eliminations to deaths. You would not have expected this, and we did it. Was how the composition was all aggression for the Dons, not even one single healer put up. And Arinnar's like, yeah, come on in, water's fine.
But without teevee online, without that Drogo's presence and the big AoE damage, Barak is going to be able to set up a little bit of a positioning here, getting some turrets online on the bridge. DrkBlack continuing to stand on the objective, but they're in a bit of trouble here, pulled up into the turrets right there, taking a lot of damage and will be forced to disengage for the time being, as pressure also comes out onto the backline from Androxus, but teevee is able to take out their direct counter in terms of Androxus, and it's only Bang which are left needing to slay, but once again, you cannot leave this Cassie unchecked whatsoever. They are far too devastating to do so, and that will be sent back to base. 4 members of the squad of the DrkBlacks, and they will be waiting on the respawns, but again, it's Arinnar.
Yeah, nobody has a lock on where Arinnar is, and now they're trying to chase her, and she's already teleported out to a different spot. Fortunately enough, killerumbrellas was looking for a height advantage and just happened to go and shake hands with Arinnar for a second. And this is what a good pull from Rosinus Prime, able to get the Drogos in a really bad spot, and now it's looking to be a turnaround. This defense is very possible with the potential zoning ability here if they can take down DrkBlack.
Once again, Bang Bang with a double kill right there, saying bang bang goodbye, and Arinnar just respawning, unable to really have much of an impact as they are poked out by the opposing Cassie. As a result, we're likely to see this defense roll through. The players are becoming slightly more confident. We're seeing the Dons extend their zoning positioning. Now, if they don't collapse appropriately and fall back when necessary, this could lead for a backdoor potential. We're going to see Fernando go for it, but chooses to redirect their attention to Buck. They can apply that anti-healing as well with the fireball, and that's just what is happening. A lot of damage raining in. Buck still able to get out a dodge hover, and we're seeing a pincer come through from killerumbrellas. This could be curtains for the DrkBlacks.
It absolutely could, and Bang Bang able to stay alive. And what you saw there from an analytical standpoint was the Dons did not want to get in any potential line of sight for the Kinessa. Why take burst damage if you don't have to? And it paid off so well. They were able to kind of take a little bit of a path of surprise there and shut down the entire, at least prospectively for them, right side of the map as we get close to that little shoreline over there.
Well, it will be kicked off with Khario falling so far. The disengage is real, and what I love is the fact that all of the DrkBlacks, they're holding onto their ultimates. The Dons too, however. So if we take a look at the scoreboard, as the defense is successful and 1-1 leads the scoreboard, and the score line, it's 100% on literally everybody. Now, who has the impact here? Who has the teamfight ultimates? Because you got Scout on one side, which is, yeah, it's good for positioning, but it's potentially not the best teamfight ultimate. On the other side, you got Headhunter, which is really good, but you're fighting into double shields. So who are you giving the edge to here, Shift?
The thing about the Scout is you need to make sure that you're not all running into a 5-man fireball again. That's the devastating factor, which actually eventually led to the cap being that much more secure in the fashion of the DrkBlacks. Don't run into a 5-man fireball. It's never good for the guy in the back of the line. It's kind of like when you're running a convoy and someone blows past a red light, and then the last person is like, well, I guess I'm just not part of this anymore. That's exactly
I feel like I want to go bowling
here
after all of this right now, because that's pretty much what it equates to. Although Polymorph is available, we know how deadly that can be if it's onto the tanky targets. Here we go, Ross and his Prime taking a lot of fire. Ancient Rage is still available, and here we go, our Cursed Arm rains down Hellfire. It will be killerumbrellas with a double kill so far. Killerumbrellas with a triple kill. Arinnar can answer back briefly, but chasing down the last player, it would be Fernando under fire. Killerumbrellas will ignore them, instead looking for Kinessa. They get the kill, the delayed Quadra right there, and they could potentially pick off the Fernando as well. They're racking in the damage, but teevee is back. Be very, very careful. Overextension from God in his Prime, but all of a sudden, Ross in his Prime, they're overextended, taken out by Dragon Punch despite that 10k HP pool, and all of a sudden there is comeback potential from the blue team here as the DrkBlacks look to actually, oh my goodness, the barrage damage shuts down everybody in an instant.
It was because of the evil mojo at the same time hit 2 players. One barrage bomb blew up both of them. Fortunately, for DrkBlack being there, able to secure another kill, but that was just, you know, the overextension is the big key to that fight right there. And granted, they are recapturing this point is the Dons, but again, your only tank is moving forward and gets completely mitigated out, not only as a character, but also the ultimate too, simply by the Drogos, and it lets the DrkBlacks get back in here. However, here comes the Buck Wild, the wind-up coming through. Killerumbrellas and Zangief need to be careful back here. If they get picked, it could be a total turnaround as this point control goes.
Well, it's 96 points in favor of the Dons so far. Oh, that's a very low buck. They're taken out by Khario. You've got to hold on to this, though. You cannot step off the objective for an instant. But with the overwatch provided by Arinnar, with their eyes up in the air, the long distance damage onto the turrets, taking out all of those, this is looking good for the DrkBlacks. Victor under fire. Got to be careful as Bang comes around to the side. Killerumbrellas, though, is the man of the hour. The double kill comes through and points on the objective. This will be the capture going to the Dons this time, as long as they can stand there for more than a second. And that took a fair bit of doing. I mean, they really didn't want to be on that objective.
No, absolutely not. And most of it was because this little perch that Arinnar is on right now is just nothing but devastation as far as line of sight ability goes. But this also kind of brings up a point. When you have a Knessa who has to stay at the back, you lose the potential to fight focused in these little corridors around the point. So in that situation, we saw a very odd man situation in favor of the Dons simply because they were staying out of the line of sight of that Knessa and fighting with odd man favored numbers in those little tight corridors. That's what results in a almost full wipe rather, and the point conversion.
That's the whole deal, is you don't have to kill Knessa to make her ineffective. If she's not shooting, you are playing a 5v4 in your favor, and if you can get that out of positioning without having to send a single member up to zone, then you are at a significant advantage. Arinnar being pressured out here is likely to fall in a second as Bang rolls in once again, proccing bonus damage off dodge roll. They will be taken out by RatedW on Victor, who has a line on them so far. Polymorph once again, but no capitalization. The two chickens, no, there we go. Finally, fantastic frag grenade from RatedR does manage to clean things up, and this looks like a point hold coming through from the DrkBlacks for the time being. Of course, due to the visual bug, we cannot see how many seconds are left on the clock, but I know that plenty has counted down so far, and it's getting very close to overtime.
Yeah, very, very close indeed. A great evil mojo, and it was very close, like a literal split second. If teevee and RatedW do not capitalize on those kills on the 3-man polymorph, it would have been a wasted energy, and Khario would probably just sit there, toss the mouse aside, and go, dudes, come on. Because that was a great ultimate.
Absolutely. It's what you need to turn the situation around when things look dire. The players are regrouping, however, back on the objective. Killer Umbrellas, nice reverse Londa teevee right there, and continues their fragging spree, putting pressure on a Pip, double kill on a Khario. And Killer Umbrellas, I've only seen them play Skye before in pub matches, but they've got a delayed triple right here, finally taken out by RatedW, but the Victor, the last player left contesting, they're going to go down very quickly, and unfortunately, this is going to be an ultimate burn from the side of the DrkBlacks here if they want to keep this game in motion, and if they don't want to let the conversion go through. Dragon Punch being channeled by teevee on the back of a double kill. Swift triple kill for teevee. Can he land the quadra kill? No, that last kill goes to Arinnar on Knessa with a pinpoint precision, and overtime finally is going to start ticking down because we have 10 seconds left on the clock. Excuse me, that visual bug gets me every single time.
Regardless, teevee deciding to utilize the ultimate. He was the only one who had to use one. They're able to completely capitalize and recontrol this to now where it's a dire situation for the Dons, and they have to ask themselves the question, how much do we want to commit to get to this point? And the answer is Zangief says Buck Wild is useful here. They're able to pick off 2 between the combined 3 of them, and now it's a zoning potential. This is down to just a tank battle right on top of the payload. DrkBlack and Ross in his prime able to go head-to-head with each other.
It's a bit of a meaty slap fight here. Once again, Killer Umbrellas returns to the fray. Tries to shut down Arinnar. Should get the shutdown, but they've overextended them. The turnaround potential is real. This is an immortal force by Fernando. Less than ideal, but if it keeps the team healed up and if it keeps the team alive, then potentially we're going to see the collapse coming. No! Oh my goodness! On the back of a fantastic collapse right there, the red team reconvenes, and on the back of a double kill from, we're going to see Ross in his prime, and bang, 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 bang. That will be the payload conversion, and a 3-1 lead in favor of the Dons.
Incredible decision making as far as when to utilize ultimates. That's the situation where we see a lot of times we talk about, oh, you need to just hold drills till the next point. Individuals found the need to capitalize on the perfect situations to use their ultimate abilities, and it led to multiple kills, both defensively and offensively. The Ancient Rage being put in to kind of keep the survivability also led to a double kill, and then on top of that, Bang Bang going off on the back line, able to put on so much damage into where that spawn point was, and now we're seeing the scout come out to exactly see where the setup needs to be, and everyone's going to know where Knessa is, which is the big key here.
Oh, and you can see that actually. Oh, here we go. Killer Umbrellas tries to find Knessa. They have nowhere to run. Dredge Anchor interrupts the teleport. Nice play from Makoa. That's exactly what we needed. And now all of the DrkBlacks, they're scattered. They have to regroup. DrkBlack himself does find the buck and allowing RatedW to come out. Hold that thought. There's an evil mojo on the other side. Killer Umbrellas so far, they need to be shut down. They will finally be shut down by Khario, but Bang spears them out of the air with the arrow, turning them into a pincushion. They are skewered, and teevee, fortunately able to escape, is pulled into the wall, not round the wall right there, and still has the shutdown potential with a nice area damage. RatedW going off a 1. Hawwk very low on Barak, is forced to run away from this. Fernando being saved by Ross in his prime, but RatedW is there as the cleanup crew, and the capture is going to the DrkBlacks currently, but for how long, as the respawns will start to trickle back in, and all of a sudden you've got Buck to deal with once more.
Yeah, and Buck's putting on the punishment right here. A great shot from Killer Umbrellas to secure that kill on teevee. He was so close to getting away. And again, you can see it getting right into the face of Arinnar. Bang Bang and Killer Umbrellas. They're able to capitalize, and now it's all zoning in favor of the Dons. They're going to even this back up to about 70 each on this capture point.
So it all comes down to the ultimate combinations, which we don't have Khario's Evil Mojo online anymore. There is Barrage. Hawwk could get a big shot down there, but Scout has been used to spot out teevee. Up in the air, Killer Umbrellas as well. The accursed arm. That is Victor taken down before the Barrage shots connect, and it's looking dire for the DrkBlacks right now as the Dons collapse onto everybody. DrkBlack himself very low. It comes down to teevee. Can he hit the Cassie? Bang, somehow still able to stay alive, and as the chase down comes from the back of Killer Umbrellas and the rest of the team, this looks like it's getting very, very close to over. But how is teevee still alive? He shuts down Bang. There is a possibility to capture here. There is a possibility to get back on the objective. It's going to come from RatedW so far on the objective, who does manage to pick up a kill. This is the turnaround we've been waiting for. Khario on the objective. Can they hold it down right now? Ancient Rage is popped, but there's actually a Fernando back already. The damage is raining down onto Makoa, and it's enough to keep the points stalled momentarily. It's 98 points to the Dons. The Immortal used to keep everybody alive, and Ross in his prime shut down. The shield has to come out from DrkBlack. They stuffed off the objective. It's in overtime. Arinnar goes down. They have to contest this right now. It is neck and neck, but as the flamethrower shot turret and dome shield comes down from Barrack, and Killer Umbrellas pulls out the triple kill. That will be it, folks. That is all she wrote, and that is the final end game. The winners of today's tournament come out on top. The Dons with the 3-1 victory in the finals.
Killer Umbrellas able to close distance so quickly, a cursed arm into just punishing final shots, actually finishes that game right before it went to black, able to get the quadra kill at the end. Incredible team synergy for the Dons. Even though they're missing a lot of those key figures we saw from last week, this is a team that is here to stay, and if they are able to pull this together with kind of a ragtag group of players, what happens when people start trying out for them that might be individually better than some of these guys? This is scary right now.
I'm pretty terrified, gonna be completely honest, of what Mo is capable of in terms of coaching. You know, Killer Umbrellas, I'd always encountered them in pub games, and it really didn't, they came out playing Sky picks, maybe some Androxus, but they were a player that didn't seem to be able to utilize team play as well as I'd expected. Going into this game, completely different, backed up by a coordinated team in voice comms. They are allowed to hyper carry, and that's just what happened in the last game. However, let's not shut out the DrkBlacks so far. Let's take a look at the scoreboard, see what those numbers represent, and whilst they had less damage overall, what's really impressive to me is for the most part that game, they actually made the Canessa pick work, you know, until it was really prioritized by Killer Umbrellas. They were fragging.
Yeah, absolutely, we're fragging, and I think those numbers really do echo that, as you were saying. You know, across the board, even eliminations to deaths for both sides, this was a very close match. And again, these two teams pitted up against one another, both, you know, kind of coming in as a new team, you know, with their rosters. They're going to walk away if they go back and watch these VODs and learn so much, and I expect them both to come back tenfold better than what they performed today.
Oh, no kidding. We all know that these players are ones which will be able to adapt very, very quickly. In fact, I think we saw mid-tournament adaptation coming out of everybody involved
Absolutely.
here. But closing thoughts. We know that the Dons, they now take the 100-point victory and stacked in the first place at the top of the leaderboards with the first place seed going into next week. Of course, right below them will be, as we check out the brackets right now, it will be the DrkBlacks. We've already gone through the bronze place matches, but once again, Virtu, and then Arise, and then the rest of the teams, as the bracket demonstrates on screen, available now. But, Shift, we've had a very intense tournament today. We've had a very interesting tournament today. If you were going to take one thing which you certainly didn't expect, what would it be?
Oh, one thing? I have to narrow it down just to one? Are you kidding me? Give me a break here. I think the biggest thing that comes as far as surprise is just how these new teams that are recently put together within the last week, if that long, some of them within the last 24, 48 hours, how they go into a new drafting system mode with the champions and say, you know what? Throw caution into the wind. We're going to try something crazy here. We saw a couple of extreme ruckus plays. We've seen people pull out Sky, and it was actually utilized well because they are not limited by the quote-unquote restrictions that we've seen be so dominated in compositional value from the top teams in the Champions Division. This is where innovation is allowed to happen. And yeah, sometimes it won't pay off, but we've seen a couple of EVs that have done really well. We saw Sky do really well. We've seen these all aggression buck compositions do really well. And there's nothing to say that this cannot happen. Just because X and so are just not good characters, it does not mean you cannot find a pro in that, build a team around it, and just absolutely abuse mechanics that we don't see very often. Again, Skye wasn't abused because her ultimate instantly eliminates people. She was abused because she can hit one side, run away, go on the other side, and come back and still continually put damage on the backside. Buck play. We see so much more Buck since the Dons brought it out last week, and now I think we're going to start to see Buck become more quote-unquote in the meta as we see it happening from this week to next.
Well, let's not forget Pip, because for me, it is all about Pip this week. The fact that we had players or teams just go, well, you know what, we're going to run Morale Boost Pip, and who cares about shields? Because when you're polymorph, they don't matter. Forget the wreckers, we'll go for cauterize. I don't care if you've got Ying, we'll go max cauterize, no wreckers, don't want to deal with your shields. We just hit you with a polymorph, and then we fry you up for a delicious chicken nugget meal. So, closing things out for today, folks, we have already gone through our final scores for all the teams, but we will be back coming up next week for more of the Paladins Challenger circuit. However, in the meantime, there has been a giveaway going on in the background. We're about to do some draws for this shift. What have you got available to us? Well, I'm glad you asked, Vox. It is, of course, 2 Viking Kinessa codes and a Raider Pip skin code. So are you excited for this?
I'm excited for it. I kind of want to get involved myself just because I love winning.
Well, then you better follow High Hold Shift on Twitch. Wait a second.
I can't follow myself.
Well, then you've got one of your entries potentially removed, folks, but we will be going ahead and drawing the winners right now live on stream. We're going to draw all the winners in one go. Yes, we are ready. Let's see who they are. And of course, oh, this is shocking. This is great. So we're going to contact these players via email. But we do have some Twitch names available for us now, so I'll go ahead and announce them. Congratulations, I, Mr. Shy, a notable player from the Oceanic Paladins competitive scene. You have gone ahead and won yourself a Raider Pip skin code. Second one, congratulations, you have won yourself a Viking Kinessa skin code, and Lord M&M's as well, a Viking Kinessa skin code. Congratulations to our winners, but most of all, a congratulations to all of our teams today, because the tournament has been lights out and has been absolutely phenomenal to watch.
Yeah, and this has been something that I cannot wait to see more teams come out next week. Again, the Challengers division is a open bracket, open to everybody. Put together some dudes. There are a lot of teams that were, like I said, were put together within the last 48 hours, so it's never too late to come in and do something like you saw today. Yeah, I'm excited to see more teams next week as we move for both the European and the North American scene.
We certainly are. Either way, folks, that closes things out from myself, Vox, I Hold Shift, my co-commentator, and everybody at Paladins World here today. We thank you all for joining us for the Paladins Full Challenger Circuit, week number 1 for North America. We'll be back next Saturday at 9 a.m. EDT for the European side of things, which is 3 p.m. CEST for you European tongue twisters here, competitors. And I think that's about it. Any closing remarks, Shift?
I love everything Paladins. That's about it.
Me too. And we'll see you next week if you're up for the challenge.